Say the man behind it all joined us now.
Morning.
How big a decision was that, by the way?
It was kind of, I couldn't see these guys all surviving this length of time, and it's probably not realistic that they have so far. It was kind of deciding which one to kill off that was a problem. Basically, I could have done any of them.
How old are they now in this book?
Probably in their 50s, kind of mid-50s, I would think.
And they've had quite, how would I describe? Interesting lives, haven't they? So it would make sense, I suppose, in some ways, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of been through the wars a little bit, and I think that anybody who gets into the mid-50s probably has in a certain ways. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it seemed to me to be fairly inevitable that they couldn't continue to function as a gang. And that's really, I think the book is about that age when you get to this point in your life when you think you try and integrate the whole lot and you're looking at some form of kind of redemption and atonement, Because I think the first book, Trainspotting, was really about betrayal. Porno was about revenge, and this one's probably a kind of twisted redemption story.
You've seen a bit of Trainspotting here. I mean, it seems that most of the characters spend their time in later life trying to avoid Begbie, but you sort of get them all back together for this one, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like they actually get back together at this joyous occasion of Hibs winning the Scottish Cup, which is kind of the only thing that could probably have brought them back together, really. And that's it's like because that was quite a big occasion in Edinburgh. It kind of did bring a lot of people back. And to kind of galvanise this whole community, and I think it had to be something unique like that would bring people back. I mean, when you think about it, it's the only kind of sport and art that do bring people together in that kind of way.
Will you miss them? Because this will be the last one, will it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing about fictional characters is I don't really think they ever die. And now, you don't need to write in real time. You can write kind of prequels. You can write kind of almost like kind of historical novels. You can take them right back to the 80s, 90s, and you can kind of sort of, I've got lots of stuff that I've written about all these characters that I've not published. So that stuff might might come to the light of day eventually.
Right.
When you originally wrote Trainspotting, I mean, it's so. The generation growing up now is so completely different, aren't they? I mean, when you think about social media and everything that they have access to, and I suppose if you were to write a book like that now, it'd be so entirely different, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it probably wouldn't get published, for one thing. I mean, it's like we don't really have a kind of youth culture that generates these kind of stories now because it's all subsumed online into the media, the global media, the social media very quickly. Now it's funny when I do readings. Basically, kind of parents bring along their kids because kids live at home a lot. Because of the way the economy is, people live at home a lot longer now. So they bring along their kids in their teens, kind of, and sometimes in their 20s, and they're much more infantilized because they've been living at home all the time than when we were in our teens and early 20s. So basically, they just dump them there in the theatre or in the bookstore and say, you look after them for an hour, we're going out for a few drinks. And I go, well, are you guys not going to stay? No, we've seen you loads of times, like, just talk to them, like, let's look. So that's what I do. I kind of basically do kind of readings and talks for the younger kids that the sort of the older Trainspotting generation dump off. So I'm a bit of a daycare guy.
20-year-old babysitting, but there you go. So you live in America now, don't you? And your new book is based in an actual real life event, isn't it? It starts with that as a premise.
Oh, the one I'm doing now, the one I'm working on now is kind of starts off with the shootings from the Mandalay Bay Hotel at the Harvest concert. And it's basically looking at how people that survived that shooting, fictional characters, how their lives have been impacted by that. The kind of the post-traumatic stress over the next 2 years of their lives. So it's based on kind of discussions and interviews with real people that have been through these kind of situations. Not so much based on it, but inspired by it. And I've kind of created fictional characters to take you through that journey. Is that the sort of book one of those books you feel you have to write? Yeah, I mean, I think it's like kind of living in the States. You do it's a massively live issue. I mean, you've seen that the Florida kids organised this big anti-gun demonstration, which is like kind of again, the power of social media. But there's like 800,000 people marched in Washington, which is almost kind of twice the size of the biggest Vietnam march. So it's an amazing sort of thing. But again, it's about all this kind of the cultural polarisation that's taking place right across the Western world, and it's such a kind of it's just become such a pertinent thing, but it's tied into everything. It's tied into all these divisions of kind of age and class. And
we've got to stop you there. I'm so sorry. It's a book. It's called Dead Men's Trousers. I appreciate the homage to the suit that we've heard today as well. It's very nice. Thank you very much indeed.
2 cracking suits on the programme. That is it from